In this video, we are going to discuss the pros and cons of being licensed and unlicensed as a transaction coordinator. I am asked this question a ton, so let's dive in and discuss all the details. First, we are going to start with the pros of being unlicensed. No licensing costs or maintenance. This is the biggest one that I hear from TCs who are juggling whether or not to get licensed. They don't want to pay the fees and they don't want to have to maintain the educational requirements. You do have to pay to take the courses, you do have to pay to sit and take the exam, and you do need to take continuing education requirements every 2 to 4 years, depending on your state. You have a lower legal risk, less exposure to liability since you don't provide advice or negotiate contracts. You can work for multiple agents and states. There's no need to be tied to a specific broker or state licensing requirements, except in states where TCs must be licensed. Currently, that's only Arizona. However, I have been saying for the last year, really ever since the NAR lawsuit came down, that I think TCs are next. They are going to be looking at the TC role in real estate and possibly putting some regulations on transaction coordinators. You are seen as non-competitive, more likely to be viewed as a neutral, supportive role rather than a competitor by agents. More flexibility and autonomy. You can operate as an independent contractor without any broker oversight. Now to move on to the cons of being unlicensed. You have a limited scope of work, and this is absolutely my number one when I discuss the pros and cons of being unlicensed, is that you cannot legally discuss contract terms, advise clients, or negotiate, which you really shouldn't be doing. That's definitely the agent's role, but it can be very restrictive in what services you can offer as a TC. Less credibility to some agents. I do know that a lot of agents view a TC being licensed as having more skin in the game. Some agents may prefer working with a licensed TC due to their perceived knowledge and legal liability. That gives us credibility. Fewer earning opportunities. This goes hand in hand with number one. If you do not have a robust service offering, then your value decreases. So you cannot receive commissions or referral fees either, which could be another stream of income for you. If you do hold a license, you can have it as a referral status, and as you meet clients or have other opportunities, you can refer that business out to licensed agents and get a pretty nice referral fee. Restricted in certain states. Some states, right now it's only Arizona, require TCs to be licensed to perform certain tasks. Now, really, all states have restrictions on licensed and unlicensed activities, but Arizona is one of the states that really pushes TCs to be licensed. There's an additional caveat there that even though you may be licensed, you still can only work for the broker who your license is hung with. And 5, less in-depth real estate knowledge. This goes back to having some less credibility. May require extra effort to stay informed on industry changes without formal education. If you want to stay abreast of what is going on in the market and contract changes, having a license keeps your finger on the pulse of that information. Next, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of being licensed. First, we will start with the pros of being licensed. Legal liability to discuss contracts. You can provide more direct guidance on contracts, disclosures, and contingencies without risk of unlicensed practice. Being able to write the listing agreement, write the purchase agreement, write addendums, remove contingencies, be a point of contact for the clients are all additional incredibly valuable services that you can offer as a transaction coordinator, which also earn you more money. Increased credibility. You may be perceived as more knowledgeable and experienced, making it easier to attract clients. More income opportunities. Can potentially earn commissions or referral fees in addition to transaction coordinator fees, as I mentioned with number 1. And in the unlicensed section, being a referral agent is a possibility of additional stream of income. 4, expanded services. You can offer additional services like compliance reviews, client consultations, and even sales assistance. There is a lot of out-of-the-box services that TCs can offer when they are licensed. You can open the door for inspectors. You can even open the door for open houses, for buyer showings. You can even do the showings for the agent if that's something you would like to do. The agent makes the appointment. You simply meet the client there and open the door. Compliance review is a big one. I personally have 2 brokers that utilize me for their overall brokerage compliance review. I don't necessarily do the TC for the file. Once the file is turned into the broker, I am the final eyes on it to say, yes, this is good, no, this isn't, kick this back to the agent. I'm not transacting the file. I'm being the final eyes on it, the compliance review manager, and that is an additional stream of income for me. You cannot do that if you're not licensed. You have a better understanding of transactions. Training and licensing provide a deeper knowledge of real estate laws, contracts, and processes. Skin in the game, people. Now, the cons of being licensed. License costs and requirements. As we discussed, you must pay for licensing classes, exams, and continuing education, plus renewal fees. These are all write-offs. Higher liability. More legal responsibility when advising clients, increasing the risk of legal issues. This is what your E&O insurance is for. E&O is errors and omissions insurance. All transaction coordinators who are independent and own their own business should have E&O coverage. This is your insurance for this liability. Don't be afraid of liability. More liability equals more opportunity for income, and you can protect yourself. Broker affiliation required in some states. You may need to work under a broker, limiting independence. As we know independent transaction coordinators to be, that means we can work really with any agent and any brokerage. We're not limited. Arizona is the difference, is the one that isn't included in that, because as a licensed Arizona transaction coordinator, you can only work with the agents in the brokerage where your license is hung. But stay tuned because this may be changing on the horizon. Conflicts of interest. Some agents might see a licensed TC as competition rather than a neutral third party. Anytime an agent has asked me or implied that they're a little hesitant because, well, what if I want to steal their client? When I'm done laughing, I remind them that I am a support role because I hate sales. I tried sales. I was a licensed agent when I first got into real estate, and I hated it. I have no interest in doing their job. I have no interest in taking their client. And as long as they stay in their lane, I will stay in mine, and this will be a wonderful relationship. I have never lost business because I am licensed or because an agent feels that I'm competition. Flattering, but no. And last but not least, may be required to disclose licensure. Some states require that you disclose your license status, which could impact agent-client relationships. Now, the client may have a misunderstanding of, well, who's representing who here? These are all conversations that can be had, and most clients understand the transaction coordinator role. If they have ever sold or bought real estate before, we are an administrative support. The client, never in my almost 20 years of doing this, has a client ever mistook me for the agent. But that is absolutely up to how the agent introduces the TC model in their business to their client and how the TC interacts with the client. We aren't negotiating the offer. That is the agent. So there are clear delineated areas in this relationship. So even though all of these cons are cons, I have scripts around all of them, and I'm happy to help you with that. So which is better for you and your business goals? If you want more career flexibility, lower legal risks, and a focus on administrative work, staying unlicensed is a great option. If you want to expand your role, take on more responsibilities, and therefore earn more money, getting licensed might be worth it. No matter which direction you want to go, you can start as unlicensed and get your license as you grow. Either way, I'm here to help you. Join my TC community and I will be there every step of the way, not only cheering you on, but providing you that support that you need. I hope to see you inside.